Hi everybody, John Steeny here with FunkQuest Season 2, Episode 21, the 5th edition of Round 2. And we have two funksters that have made their way, battled their way to the second round, Bryan and Terry. And first of all, Bryan, you want you to tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
So I'm Bryan Falchuk. I'm from a city called Boston in the US, and I'm an author, speaker, and leadership and transformation coach, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. We'll find out in the next few minutes. Terry Fox, tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Terry Fox. I own Artesian Spring Oriental Medicine here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I specialize in aesthetic and facial acupuncture. So I help folks look younger and feel better without having to do Botox or fillers or any of that nastiness.
Good stuff. You could get some funk out in this episode, of which there has been a couple of rule changes. So if you're a new listener to the show and you're thinking, what on earth's going on here? Well, you'll kind of figure it out. If you're an existing listener and you've listened before, you don't have to go grab a piece of paper and a pencil because it's a different voting mechanism to tell you about. So who's going to go first? I'm going to let Terry go first, I think.
Well, all right.
Question 1.
I am thinking, let's go with the gears.
The gears. Where do you keep your guests away from?
Where do I keep my guests away from? Oh boy. Probably right now, probably my basement. Not that we've got many guests at the moment. But our basement is pretty much unfinished, and so everything that we went when we moved in, all of our, Christmas stuff and camping gear and a lot of my Chinese medicine books and such are all just willy-nilly down here. We're hoping to get it finished, but right now, I would not send guests down here.
There's nothing illegal there, is there?
Honestly, I'm actually in the basement right now, and this is a beautiful backdrop that I've created out of the chaos that's surrounding me at the moment.
Yeah, that was pretty smart. That. Is it like a boys' hangout type of day?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we'll come round and you'll keep us away. Out of time. Bryan, question 1, you do not have to pick the same.
I gotta go with Kermit the Frog.
Kermit.
Yeah.
How many dictionaries do you own?
None.
None?
Yeah, I think I have an English to Chinese translation dictionary, and that's about it. And I don't know where that is.
How did you get to own that?
I study. That's a much funkier question. So I studied Chinese in college, and I went over to China for a summer to study, immersion, and I taught English while I was there as well. So I picked that up for all the words I didn't know. Because for anyone who studied languages,
still got some Chinese. Still speak a few words of Chinese.
I do. Gosh, I don't even know. I don't know what to say. That's not very funky of me as well. Well, so my wife asked me to do that one of the first times I met my future father-in-law. We weren't married at the time. And he had this really stupid looking hat on. And so I told, so they're like, say something in Chinese. So I said, ni de mao zi na ma qi guai. It's just, you have a weird hat. Your hat's weird. And that picture's from Boston, I should add. That's right in my hometown. Yeah, that's the John Hancock Tower.
Excellent. Good. I can't know that. I'm just going to say that maybe my wife let it that bit out, but my brother-in-law used to go out with a girl who spoke fluent Welsh, which is a minority language over here. And somebody said, can you speak Welsh? She said, yeah. And they said, go on and speak some Welsh. She says, it's not a party trick. Which I thought was a good line. Yeah. Bryan, question 2.
Since I'm vegan, let's go with the cheeseburgers.
The cheeseburgers, yeah.
Yeah, let's put them to rest.
Which is better, big parties or small gatherings?
Well, right now, there's no question, small gatherings. But I think generally, I'm a small gatherings person. I just prefer the depth you can get into with people.
Rather than the loud pumping noise and...
It's really weird, Jonathan, because I would say I test as an extrovert anytime I take like Myers-Briggs or something, and I relish being on stage and public speaking and all that kind of stuff. But actually, I would always take a smaller, more intimate group over a large one, or just being alone, which is like my preference actually errs on the side of introversion, but I'm comfortable in big settings. But yeah, I would always go for a smaller gathering than a big one.
What's the biggest audience what you've ever spoke to?
Just over 1,000.
Really?
And there were college kids who were also eating breakfast at the same time, and I was talking about insurance. So the fact that I actually got them engaged, I think, is a pretty strong feat.
Cool.
I mean, there was bacon on the table, so strong competition.
Yeah, college kids eating breakfast.
Yeah.
Talking about insurance. Rock on. Terry, question 2. You can pick the cheeseburgers, or you can pick anything you want. You want the cheeseburgers?
Okay. Yes. Well, just to add on to the cheeseburgers, I'm definitely more of a small group guy myself. It's easier to build relationships. I really think that smaller groups, you get to build relationships a little bit more easily. I mean, you can do it at a big party if you're that kind of person who can have the sort of charisma and magnetism to draw that many people to you. And I think that's something that you can work on doing, or maybe you've got it inborn. But for those of us that are kind of natural introverts, which I definitely am, it's so much easier to relate to people in smaller groups. It doesn't tax the energy as much.
The problem that I have with big parties is that there's quite often loud booming music and everybody's shouting at each other, which that's not really my thing.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I think we're broken 3-0 on small gatherings. So that's what our little straw poll says. Question 3, who's it to go first? It's Terry, I think.
Yeah.
Question 3.
I think we better go with that long-eared squirrel there.
Which magician impressed you most?
Magician. Are we talking stage magicians, or are we talking magicians in fiction?
Whichever.
Well, I'm a big fiction fantasy reader. Yeah. And I mentioned that the last time I was on. So of course, magicians, wizards, these kinds of guys, I would immediately have to go with Gandalf the Grey from the Lord of the Rings. I mean, this is a character who is almost an angelic kind of being, sent to guide someone through such traumatic and perilous quests. Gandalf is kind of the archetype for most wizards and magicians that you see in fiction and fantasy nowadays. So that's who I'd have to go for.
Bryan, question 3.
Yeah, I'll take the Ferrari.
Which TV series have you binged on?
All of them. So yeah, I just saw a story this morning that Disney is actually really concerned about how quickly people are burning through the content on Disney Plus, and so they're going to pull forward some releases they had planned for later in the year.
Really?
Well, yeah. So on that, I just finished The Mandalorian yesterday, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if it's been critically acclaimed or not. I know the movies have not been well received of late, but I thought it was quite good. I used to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Like in the I don't know, 80s and 90s, and so I watched Picard, and I was thoroughly let down. I thought it was kind of a joke. Yeah, which is a shame.
The new one.
Yeah, he was soft, and it was more, I don't know, it was more touchy-feely and whatever. There were some moments that were good, but generally I wasn't a fan. I'm binging Ozark right now, the 3rd season, which is an amazing show. Really good acting.
How long did it take you to watch Mandalorian?
Well, I watched it while I was on my my cycle trainer, it took
right, okay.
So a few rides, not too bad.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart, Huddersfield lad, comes from just up the road from us.
Yeah.
Muirfield, yeah, about an hour up the road. Bryan, question 4.
Oh, right, I have to go again. I will take the London skyline.
What useful tip is your favorite?
What useful tip is my favorite? It's kind of pathetic, but there's little, so I'm doing a lot of communication right now. I've got a lot of different things I'm reaching out to people on. I'm finishing up my next book, and there's a lot of like last minute kind of fire drill. You have to shoot someone back a quick message, or, you're moving meetings around. I've got 3 meetings that overlap today, and I'm still trying to work through that. Figuring out how to move the cursor in my iPhone to exactly the place where I mistyped or it thought it meant something else. It's not easy with tapping.
Yeah.
But I found if you hold down your finger on the space bar, it becomes like a mouse and you can get it right where you want it. It's a sad state of affairs. It kind of comments on my last appearance where it was like, oh, smartphones. But look, it's crucial for me daily. So not very profound, but very useful.
So you press then it turns into a cursor. You press on the
so the keyboard like vanish, all the letters vanish, and you can move your thumb around and you'll watch the cursor move. It's like you're using a trackpad.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I told someone their dog name for their new puppy was a good omen, and I meant a good one. Like, oh, that's a good one. But I wrote, it's a good omen. It was like the most profound thing about a puppy anyone's posted on Facebook.
What a tip.
Yeah.
Good omen.
So now I know how to fix it on the fly.
What a tip. Terry, question 4.
Let's go for the park slides.
The slides, yeah, good. When was the last time you made a snowman?
Oh, goodness. About 2 weeks ago, somewhere around in there. We had a nice fresh spring storm here and a lot of wet snow. So we had the boys go out and shovel the driveway. And after we did that, we rolled up some snow and built us a snowman, and as well as packing snow in a box so we could make bricks, and kind of built up a wall.
That's cool.
That is cool. That is cool. Did you put like the pipe in the mouth? And we're not allowed to smoke now, are we? But did you put the hat on, the coal for the nose and all that stuff? Did you do all that?
Oh, you know, we just had rocks in the yard. We could pick up and just put them in.
Yeah.
And then twigs.
Yeah.
So
I'm really impressed by the brick thing though. That is really cool.
Well, that's part of just living in the Rocky Mountain region here. We get lots of snow here and there, and then it comes down. We have fun with it, and then a couple of days later, the sun comes out and it melts off, and then we're right back to beautiful sunshine.
Question 5. Terry, to go first.
Oh, let's go with that treasure chest.
Who did you last beat at something?
That would be my older son, Patrick. Super Smash Brothers on the Nintendo Wii.
Really? Really?
Do you know what to press? Because I find it's just kind of, I'm just hitting everything, and if I hit someone, great.
Well, it took me a little bit to get it figured out, but the controls are actually very similar, at least on this Wii version, very similar to playing an old school Nintendo Entertainment System, which of course, I mean, I was Mario Brothers king back in the day, you know.
Brilliant.
So I use Link. He's my favorite Smash Brothers character, and I was amazed that I was actually able to pull that out against my son, because he's been practicing a fair amount, and now he's getting pretty good. So
how did he respond to getting beat by his dad?
Oh, he's a good sport. He is such a mild-mannered kid. I mean, he was like, "Dad, way to go! That was impressive. High five."
Good. Now, question 5, Bryan, I think.
I guess like that, is that a squirt gun or something? That
Water
whatever
pistol.
that.
We'd call that
Yeah.
water pistol, yeah.
Water pistol. Yeah, let's do that.
Who did your best friend leave you for?
My best friend left me for nobody. He kind of, my high school best friend, you know, we went off to different universities, and his mother called me, and she's like, you need to, like, he's not talking to anyone, you need to reach out. And so I did, and he just kind of snapped at me, and then I guess like went off and hid on his own. He got out of that phase, and we're friends again. We just don't talk about that period, but yeah, it was very hard.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. It's obviously like there was something going on, but yeah, I couldn't understand it. So that was weird. And I lost a best friend in 8th grade who was also my chemistry class partner to a girl. And he was interested in I don't even know her name now, maybe Ellen or some girl in our class. Yeah, they didn't get married.
Didn't
But yeah, I mean, that was...
So joke's on him.
Yeah. Well, he and I didn't get married either, so it's all fine. Yeah. And I did do better in chemistry than he did. So
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the fool. Yeah. That's it. Right. So if you all made it to the end, well done. What we're trying to do now is get one of these guys through to the quarterfinals of season 2, and you can do this by sending a tweet, and somewhere around this episode will be a link to a Twitter poll where you can send a tweet. No, you can't. You can vote with who you think should go through to the quarterfinal. So with that said, Terry, how do we contact you and find out more about you?
Find out more about me, you can go to my website, artesianspringom.com. That's my acupuncture site. And then I also have a podcast called The Get Foxy Show. It's geared towards women. We talk holistic health, natural beauty, and passionate living so that you can amplify your inner fox. And you can find that at thegetfoxyshow.com.
Fantastic.
It's a great title.
That is a good title. We like that. Yeah. Bryan, how can we contact you?
Yeah, so people can find me at bryanfalchuk.com. It's BRYANFALCHUK. And I'm at Bryan Falchuk on all social media, not TikTok, which we were talking about before. And I also have a podcast called Do a Day that is tied to my first book. And it's all about inspiring stories of people who have overcome some major adversity and learn something in the process, so that if you're feeling stuck, maybe you find a bit of inspiration to do the same in your life.
Excellent. Gents, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll speak to one of you in the quarterfinal.
That's great. So much. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks so much for making it to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. I have a few people you might want to share it with. Your partner, your parents, your grandma and granddad, your neighbours, your hairdresser, your tea lady, your gym instructor, your swimming coach, postman, the bin man, your cat, your dog, Father Christmas, Mr. Trump, Mr. Putin, Cristiano Ronaldo.